Over the past 3 decades, Al-Qaeda has challenged international stability and security. Founded by Osama bin Laden in the 1980s in the context of the Afghan war against the Soviet Union, this terrorist organization has evolved from its origins. Having been created as a network of mujahideen fighters, it now stands as a global entity with a radical Islamic ideology and an anti-Western agenda. The high point of its infamous reputation was September 11, 2001. The day on which 19 hijackers affiliated with Al-Qaeda crashed commercial airliners into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, killing nearly 3,000 people and injuring thousands more. This chain of attacks marked a turning point in modern history and triggered a ferocious, massive response led by George Bush in Afghanistan. In this new video, you will learn, in great detail, the circumstances and secrets of the operations that led to the death of the 2 main heads of the organization, the fearsome Osama bin Laden and al-Zawahiri.
Y luego vimos el segundo avión.
Y vi el impacto en la Torre Sur, y dije fue Al-Q4eda. Ese fue Osama bin Laden. ¿Cómo fallamos de esta manera? ¿Cómo pudimos habernos equivocado tanto?
Estados Unidos no olvida que somos resistentes, que si nos agreden, seguramente lo pagarán.
Al-Qaeda, called the base in Arabic, was founded in 1988 by Osama bin Laden with the goal of establishing a pan-Islamic caliphate across the Muslim world. A caliphate is a form of Islamic government based on the idea of a supreme leader, known as a caliph, who is regarded as the political and religious successor to the Prophet Muhammad. Historically, it has been a central institution in the Muslim world, exercising political, religious, and military authority over vast geographic areas. The Sunni and Salafi group was originally comprised of Arab fighters who had fought alongside the Mujahideen against the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. Despite efforts by international forces to eradicate it, the organization has demonstrated resilience and adaptability, carrying out bloody assaults using conventional and unconventional tactics. Al-Qaeda's relevance to the United States lies not only in its record of deadly attacks, but also in its ability to inspire and coordinate affiliated individuals and groups around the world. This poses a constant threat and challenge to the national security of America and the international community as a whole. Following the monumental devastation of September 11th, Al-Qaeda radically transformed its organizational structure from a hierarchical network into a decentralized global network. This evolution was driven by a number of factors. On the one hand, intensified anti-terrorist efforts restricted the communication capabilities of senior leaders. On the other, the reputation of the Al-Qaeda brand as the world's leading jihadist entity led to the formation of strategic alliances with other jihadist cells, giving rise to the emergence of local franchises. For years, military and intelligence forces were engaged in the search for bin Laden's hideout around the world. In September 2010, the CIA finally got the crucial lead when it used surveillance photos to identify a known Al-Qaeda courier as frequenting a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. Over the next few months, the agency used informants, surveillance, and other data-gathering measures to conclude that the killer and his family were hiding at the compound. However, up to the time of the attack, there was no solid evidence that the top terrorist was present, and this was only the best available guess. Even President Barack Obama said that he and his team were not surprised to discover that the top criminal was hiding in plain sight. But they were surprised to learn that the compound had been there for so long without any information leaking out. I think the image bin Laden was trying to promote was that he was an ascetic living in a cave, Obama said. This guy was living in $1 million compound in a residential neighborhood. The actual raid on bin Laden's compound was called Operation Neptune Spear, a reference to the trident that appears on the U.S. Naval Special Warfare emblem. On the night of the infiltration, May 2, 2011, 24 SEALs flew in 2 helicopters, below radar and using varied routes to avoid detection. Reports describe the terrorists' compound as surrounded by barbed wire and 20-foot walls with 10-foot walls around the balconies. In addition, the compound's layout was designed to obstruct sightlines from multiple directions. During the raid, the tail of one of the helicopters grazed the compound's wall, causing an emergency landing that fortunately did not result in serious injuries, although at the end of the operation, the helicopter had to be destroyed to prevent its technology from falling into the wrong hands. Equipped with night vision goggles due to the CIA-induced power outage on the street, the SEALs infiltrated bin Laden's compound. They cleared weapons caches and barricades, eliminating any individuals who offered resistance while protecting women and children. They also confiscated anything that might contain classified information, including hard drives and cell phones. They quickly advanced to the third floor, where they found the terrorist leader in his bedroom. The terrorist leader was unarmed, wearing the local loose tunic and pants known as kurta pajama. These pants were later found to contain 500 euros and 2 phone numbers sewn into the fabric. As the Americans climbed the stairs, bin Laden stared through his bedroom door, aware that death was imminent and he could do nothing to prevent it. Reports differ, although they agree that he was eventually hit by gunfire in the body and head. The initial shots could have easily missed, hit him in the chest, side, or head. What is known is that several women were in the room around the terrorist leader. According to journalist Nicholas Schmidl, one of the terrorist's wives, Amal Ahmed Abdul Fattah, made a gesture as if she were going to load a gun. After noticing this, one of the SEALs shot her in the leg, immediately grabbed both women and pulled them away. When they made sure that the terrorist could not use either of his wives as a human shield, he was finally shot down. On the other hand, the version of Robert J. O'Neill, who later publicly identified himself as one of the SEALs who shot bin Laden, states that he entered through the door and confronted the terrorist inside the bedroom. The criminal was standing behind a woman with his hands on her shoulders, using her as a human shield and pushing her forward. Without a second's hesitation, O'Neill immediately shot bin Laden twice in the forehead, and then once more as the terrorist collapsed to the ground. In total, 3 bullets ended the terrorist's life.
He was sort of moving, and just based on the level of threat of him not surrendering and the likelihood of him having a vest, I engaged him. I shot him twice in the head. He fell on the floor. I shot him one more time, and I killed him.
After shooting down the wanted terrorist, the SEALs evacuated the area with the body loaded onto an additional Chinook helicopter for transport. From start to finish, the operation had taken less than 40 minutes. Using known photos and facial recognition software, CIA specialists determined with 95% certainty that the body was that of the world's most wanted terrorist. DNA analysis was also performed on the body, which resulted in a virtual 100% match with several members of the feared terrorist's family. Hours after the operation, bin Laden was thrown into the sea.
Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Q4eda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
Speaking about the raid, Obama said, "For us to be able to say definitively, we've captured the man who caused thousands of deaths here in the United States and who had been the reference point for violent extremist jihad around the world. It was something I think we were all deeply grateful to be a part of." But bin Laden's death did not extinguish the terrorist organization. After the assassination of its top leader and founder, there were several attempted attacks by extremist groups in different parts of the world. One of the most notable occurred in December 2011, when a man tried to detonate a bomb on a Northwest Airlines passenger plane en route from Amsterdam to Detroit. Fortunately, the device failed, and there were no fatalities, but this incident underscored the persistent threat of air terrorism. By that time, it was already public knowledge that Osama's successor would be none other than Ayman al-Zawahiri. Born in Cairo in 1951, Zawahiri came from a respectable family with a strong academic and religious tradition. From a young age, he became involved in political Islam and was arrested at the age of 15 for his affiliation with the Muslim Brotherhood. Despite this, he managed to graduate as a doctor and practice as an ophthalmic surgeon in Egypt. His career took a radical turn when he joined the Egyptian Islamic Jihad, opposing the secular government of his country. In 1981, he was arrested for his alleged involvement in the assassination of President Anwar Sadat. Although he was not convicted of this crime, he spent 3 long years in prison for illegal possession of weapons, where he is said to have been tortured, which influenced his affiliation with jihadist ideas. He is considered the ideologue of Al-Qaeda and has been closely linked to bin Laden, being described as his right-hand man. Zawahiri was the subject of an intensive search by the Central Intelligence Agency for months. Once his location in Kabul, Afghanistan was confirmed, preparations for the attack were made. After receiving clearance from U.S. President Joe Biden to proceed with the operation, the CIA executed the plan. 2 Hellfire missiles were selected as the ideal choice due to their accuracy and ability to minimize collateral damage. These weapons, primarily manufactured by Lockheed Martin, are precision-guided munitions for air-to-ground strikes that typically cause significant damage, leveling entire buildings and killing or seriously injuring anyone nearby. However, in this case, a special variant of the Hellfire known as the R9X was used, which features a unique modification. Instead of conventional explosives, this version is equipped with 6 pop-up blades designed to selectively damage targets, thereby minimizing collateral damage. The attack took place in the early hours of the morning, while al-Zawahiri was standing on the balcony of his residence in a Shirpur neighborhood in Kabul. A CIA-operated drone took precise aim and fired 2 missiles at the target. The impact was lethal, killing the wanted criminal instantly while leaving the other occupants of the house unharmed. In the image you are about to see, you can see the smoke billowing from the terrorist's residence immediately after he was shot down.
On Saturday, at my direction, the United States successfully concluded an airstrike in Kabul, Afghanistan that killed the emir of Al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri.
Following the elimination of al-Zawahiri, Joe Biden confirmed the death of the al-Qaeda leader and considered it a release from justice. The success of this operation represented a significant blow to al-Qaeda and highlighted the effectiveness of the intelligence and combat tactics used by the United States in the fight against international terrorism. By February 2023, the criminal organization had not yet officially announced al-Zawahiri's death, nor had it openly designated his successor. On December 23rd, they even released what they described as a new recording of the slain criminal, although no details were provided about when it was made, and his image continued to be used in their communications. However, the question we ask ourselves is, who took command after al-Zawahiri's death? Is al-Qaeda in the process of disintegrating, or on the contrary, has it become stronger over the years as a decentralized organization? According to United Nations reports in February 2023, many member countries believed that Saif al-Adel was the de facto successor. However, al-Qaeda had not formally named him, perhaps to avoid attention on the Taliban for sheltering al-Zawahiri, and because al-Adel resides in Iran. The truth is that these blows have weakened the group's central structure and contributed to its decentralization. In any case, the threat persists due to al-Qaeda's adaptability and recruiting capacity, as well as its ease in inspiring and coordinating attacks through affiliated cells in different parts of the world. The threats continue, and the free world is on the lookout for any retaliation. This is where we have come with the video. If you liked it, don't forget to leave your comments in the tray below. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next video from Military Force.